Is Skye Holland the next sellout project of 2025, and why are agents saying that we are back at 2019 entry price? Welcome to my YouTube channel Property Show. We break it all down for Skye Holland, from floor plans to facilities to the pricing, and why land price here might make this your best opportunity to enter the D10 area, considering that this is the last GLS plot within the Holland Village vicinity. I'm particularly excited about this project because it's right next to One Holland Village, which is one of the biggest pet-friendly malls in Singapore. So I brought my cats down for a site recce of Skye Holland. It was kind of chaotic, but I'm gonna force everyone to watch some snippets of the video that I got, as well as the artist impression of Skye Holland. This project will be very popular among dinks and dinkwet couples with dual incomes and no kids, with a cat or with a dog. Now, these people will not have the burden, or rather the responsibility of raising a child. Basically, they have extra budget for wine, travel, cafes, as well as maybe a nicer home. Let's dive into the project info for Skye Holland. There are a total of 666 units spread across 2 blocks of 40-story towers. It sits on a land plot that is about 133,000 square feet. This is a pretty sizable plot in the Holland Village area, considering that most of the surrounding resale condos are smaller boutique condos. The land price here, it was sold at 805 million, so that brings it to about 1,205 PSF per plot ratio. This is actually very cheap for this area. Now, the expected TOP will be Q1 2029. Developers, big players in the industry. You have CapitaLand, UOL, Singland, as well as King Yong. So you expect a certain kind of standard over here. The architect P&T, as well as landscape architect Henning Larsen. So if you go down the Pine Tree Hill, I think you should be seeing similar quality as that. You can also expect top quality finishing as well as fittings, with this being the CCR project. If you have been to Promenade Peak Troll Flat, you can see that the finish there is a little bit more atas lah. Probably one thing that I didn't like when I went for the agent preview of Skye at Holland was that the bedroom flooring was vinyl, so it didn't have such a nice feel. And the bathrooms actually like the large format tiles. But this is a bit of nitpicking because I just don't like too many drop lines. Overall, still looks like a very quality project, and I'm very excited to invite you to visit the show flat on 26 September. In terms of location, Holland Village needs no introduction. It's fantastic. This project is in the heart of Holland Village, just 5 minutes away from the Holland Village MRT. This plot here, if you're old enough to know, it used to be one of the car parks behind Walla Walla, and together with where One Holland Village currently stands. Being next to One Holland Village, you get to enjoy the amenities and the convenience of being just right next to the mall without having to pay a premium for mixed development. You also have all the F&B shop houses in the Holland Village area, and if you cross the road over to Taman Warna, you still have lots of choices for restaurants, cafes. In terms of connectivity, you're just 1 stop away from Buona Vista MRT that's on the Green Line as well, and 2 stops from Botanic Gardens where you can switch to the downtown line. So if you drive AYE, PIE, they are both also very easily accessible, and the traffic there is not too bad. Dempsey, Orchard area, they are all a very short drive away. Let's take a look at the site plan. You've got an L-shaped plot here with 2 entrances along Holland Village Way. There are 50 lifestyle facilities here, including a 50-meter lap pool, wellness pool, Skye clubhouse with gym and yoga room, barbecue, as well as a pet play area. A little bit disappointing that they don't have a tennis court or at least a pickleball court. Not a deal breaker, but worth noting for pickleball enthusiasts like myself. There are a total of 666 car park lots with 10 TV lots and 5 accessible lots. So you're looking at a 1:1 ratio, which is actually pretty generous for a development that is 5 minutes walk away from the MRT station. Right, so the car parks on basement 1, basement 2, as well as level 1 and 2, which sets the first floor of the development already at elevated height. If we look at the views over here, generally surrounding areas are low density other than the BTO plot that's just right beside, but the blocks that are facing One Holland V, they will very likely clear the retail area if you are buying around levels 6 or 7 and above. Meanwhile, on the other side, that's likely the premium facing block. You will get unblocked GCB views. Although North Buona Vista Road, it tends to be relatively busy sometimes, but with the left pool over there as a setback, I think that should be a sufficient buffer. In terms of unit type and mix, out of the 666 units, around 55% are 2-bedroom type, starting from your 2-bed 1-bath all the way to your 2-bed 2-bath with study. So there are no 1-bedders here, and remaining 45%, they are made up of 3, 4, and 5-bedders, some coming with a private lift. This is a good indication that developers are targeting more own-stay buyers, and quite a number of new launches recently have actually made away with the 1-bedroom type, which I actually think is great. I wouldn't really recommend investing in one of those as well, but I think that's a topic for another video. Let's move on to the bottom part. What price was Skye at Holland launching at, and where does it stand compared to the resale units in the area? We'll look at the different floor plans and what prices to expect for each unit type. Based on the GLS land price, which is 1:85 PSF per plot ratio, the developers here really got it cheap, but will they launch it at a low price? I doubt so. Considering this is D10 when it consists of Tanglin, Holland as well as Bukit Timah area, but we'll see. Anyway, just to give you some context, the future GLS plot Holland Link, which is not too far away, was recently sold at 1,432 PSF per plot ratio, and 2 plots all the way at Tram Grove were actually sold at 1,300 PSF, about there. I think it's an indication of where prices are going in future. Over here at Skye Holland, we're expecting a launch guide price of 2,800 to around 3,000 PSF average, factoring harmonization. So if we do a resale comparison, the closest and more recent projects will be One Holland Village as well as Van Holland. Okay, but Van Holland is a much smaller plot with only 69 units and freehold, so I don't think it's a very fair comparison. If you look further down Leiden area, okay, Leiden Green and so on, the prices there are even higher, right? So for best comparison, let's focus on One Holland V that's just right beside Skye Holland, and it just reached TOP not long ago. As you can see, the average PSF transacted on average between launch and 2023 at One Holland V was already 2,800 PSF thereabouts. So I also removed the 1-bedroom type for this, and the prices we can expect at Skye Holland, of course it's not cheap, okay, but it's a price that has already been accepted in this area for the past few years, right? First of all, let's look at the smallest layout at Skye Holland, the 2-bed 1-bath, 581 square feet, likely launching around 2,008 to 3,000 PSF, so we're looking at 1.6x to 2 mil. Considering this is a 40-story high building, the gap between the lowest floor to the top floor will likely see a very big gap. Okay, so a standard dumbbell layout we have here, this is what we see very often now. Okay, but for this unit, it's an open concept kitchen, which I'm not too big a fan of. Okay, take note there's no ventilation in the bathroom or kitchen, which is very common for dumbbell units, which are usually wedged in the middle of other units. If we were to compare the layout and quantum, is pretty similar to what One Holland V launched in 2019, averaging around 1.8 mil. So if you can get something around this price or lower, I think it's reasonable. Okay, the 2-bed 1-bath at One Holland V also has an open concept kitchen, but somehow the space looks a bit tighter around the entrance. Probably because One Holland V layouts are pre-harmonized, meaning the AC ledges there were included in the gross floor area, unlike at Skye Holland where it's a post-harmonized project. Right, if possible, it's good to go for at least this next 2-bed premium layout, the 2-bed 2-bath at 678 square feet. Now this is much more livable, the space, in my opinion. If average price 2,008 to 3,000 PSF, we could expect 1.9 mil to 2 mil for these units. Proper kitchen that is enclosable and tucked neatly to the side, dedicated dining area, and you know there are some 2-bedders where the dining area sits awkwardly just right in front of the toilet entrance. Okay, so this one here, that's a pretty neat layout. Okay, for One Holland V, 2-bed 2-bath, average 2.1 mil. It is of course slightly bigger than the 2-bed at Skye Holland in terms of floor area, but let's not forget a lot of wasted space. You can see there's a very huge balcony that's even bigger than the bedrooms. Okay, so the AC ledge is also huge, and it's an open concept kitchen here. So comparing these two layouts, I think Skye Holland is a much better choice. Okay, next, the 2+ study, which is one of the show flat layouts at 732 square feet. So similarly dumbbell layout like the other two bidders. But the kitchen here actually looks pretty sizable for a two bidder. If you notice, it's bigger than the other two layouts that we saw. Okay, the study here is located within the master with direct access to the balcony. Okay, but it's pretty flexible how you want to play around with the space. Okay, you could have a really huge master if you move the partition over there, or you could still keep the small study, but you can even push it towards the toilet area. But if you're one that's looking to use your study as a storeroom, then maybe this layout doesn't really make sense for you lah. Okay, if these start from 2,700 PSF onwards, we could expect 2 to 2.2 mil, which is pretty decent for this area, right? If you see the two bidders transacted at 2 mil and above for One Holland Village, so it's pretty safe to enter at this price with the Harmonised layout. Just to give you some perspective, the remaining 2-bed 2-bath at Trump Park is selling at 2 mil, no enclosed kitchen, and the 2 plus study there, we are left with the 2.1 mil unit. So Holland V versus Trump Park, which location is better? You tell me. Next, 3 compact unit, 915 square feet. This actually reminds me of a Park Esta 3 compact unit that I recently brought my clients to view. Okay, kitchen here looks smaller than the 2 plus study, and I think it actually is smaller than the 2 plus study, but there is a window for ventilation in the kitchen and both bathrooms. Okay, there isn't a store for 3 compact, so no clear advantage over the competitor at One Holland V, where the 2-bed 2-bath and 3 bedders all come with a utility room. But if you are looking at a good entry price for 3-bed in the Holland Village area, then this might be it. Otherwise, I feel going for a 2 plus study or paying a little bit more for a 3 premium might be a better choice. The 3 premium, 1076 square feet, another show flat layout. I do like this layout quite a bit. There's a separation of the dry and wet kitchen, and this comes with a yard area as well as home shelter and WC all in the kitchen. The rooms in the show flat unit actually feels quite big, but on paper itself they're actually only 9 square meters, which is a tad disappointing for a more luxe project. But nevertheless, let's compare with the neighbor. If you see the layout here at One Holland V, the 3 premium comes with utility/yard area combined and a WC. Okay, but the layout of the kitchen somehow makes it feel a little cramped. The balcony also stretches across the living room all the way to bedroom 3. I find that unnecessarily huge, especially for those who are looking for more efficient, usable space. If you're one of those who like to chill out, you like the al fresco vibe where you can drink coffee and chill, then just walk over to one of the cafes at One Holland Village. Huge AC ledge here, wasted space. The average transacted price around 2.9 to 3 mil, and the larger ones go up to around 4 mil. You can enter a 3-bedroom premium at Skye Holland. 3 mil and below is not a bad deal. Honestly, less than 3 mil in this area can't get you any 3-bedroom premium. Let's move on to the larger units here. 4-bedroom, 1238 square feet with private lift. It's a portrait layout for the living and dining area. Okay, there's also a separation of dry and wet kitchen with your bomb shelter, yard and WC. Everything else pretty standard for a 4-bedder. We're looking at 3.4 to 3.6 mil over here. The 4-bed premium with private lift, 1464 square feet, landscape layout. I like this layout over here for the living dining area. It gives it a more luxurious feel. The kitchen is huge and squarish with a kitchen island, and the yard, bomb shelter, helper's toilet are all tucked away at the back where the second entrance is. Master bedroom here is also very spacious, similar to the 5-bedroom show flat unit where they could even have a sofa within the master. It is potentially the more premium stack with the GCB views, so prices are likely to be around 4 mil and up. Last and most luxurious unit of all, you have the 5-bedroom premium, which I mentioned is the show flat unit. Comes with a private lift, 1765 square feet. Also the premium landed facing. Okay, this looks very similar to the 4-bed premium in terms of the living, dining and kitchen orientation and size. Difference here is the junior master actually has a Jack and Jill entrance, so this toilet will be shared as a guest toilet. The bedrooms 3 and 4, they both have ensuite toilet shared in the middle, and again the very spacious master with walk-in wardrobe. Prices slightly 4.75 to over 5 mil on average. Now let's discuss whether Skye at Holland is worth considering. I'll talk about why you should or shouldn't buy this development. Why you shouldn't buy it is definitely not going to be cheap. I mean, let's be real, this is the Holland Village area. what were you expecting? Okay, the Ori at Toa Payoh, Chuan Park already averaged 2,700 PSF. So for pure investors, you got to be careful here with your entry price. Go for the low to middle floors if possible, and if they cross a certain threshold, I think there are definitely better new launch options down the road that can make you more money. Another point to note, for the premium block that is northwest facing, you might get afternoon sun, and some of these are premium units where people are paying a high quantum for it, so it's a bit sian lah. Not a big problem, you can install zip tracks, solar fields, curtains. For the high quantum 4 and 5 bedrooms, we are looking at 5 over million and above, especially the high floor units could be hitting 7 million. So some people might say, what, can buy landed already? Yes, can buy landed in the OCR law. People coming to this area to buy homes most likely don't want to stay so far away. School factor, some people might say no one care to top primary schools, but honestly this is mostly seen as a bonus for me, not a very key factor. But there will likely be buyers who are already alumni of certain schools that are within 2 km, and you have Henry Park Primary, Nanyang Primary, as well as Fairfield Methodist. Why you should buy? Okay, if you've been looking to move to this area, then honestly there aren't many better options to go for. You're right next to the MRT, prime location, but still close to more heartlandish neighborhoods like Ghim Moh, Commonwealth. Okay, for Dingquets, you wouldn't even care that it's 1 km to whatever top school. You just want to be able to stroll over to a pet-friendly mall where people won't judge you for treating your fur kids like your own child, and I've become one of those as well. In terms of exit strategy, you have private upgraders or even the landed GCB owners buying for their children or for investment. Your HDB upgraders, they might come from the nearby Queenstown, Dawson, Ghim Moh area where honestly $1 million HDBs have become the norm over there. The lack of supply in this area with the future land bids on the rise, this could be a good opportunity to enter before new launches hit new highs in 2026. Rental demand, needless to say, you are near the One Holland area, and this has always been a very popular area among expats, so you don't have to worry about rental yield as well. My top picks will be the 2+ study and the 3-bedroom units if they do fall within the price range that I mentioned. Overall, it's going to be a popular launch because of its location and attributes. Will it be a sellout project on launch day? Probably not with the high floors going at such high quantum, but it will probably sell well if launched at a competitive price. And when I say competitive price, I don't mean cheap, but it is not exorbitant as you've seen the resale pricing in this neighborhood. And you pay for the lifestyle and convenience. Is that premium worth paying? That's up to you to decide. So if you want the full e-brochure and best tech recommendation, you can DM me or WhatsApp me at 9793-7906. VVIP preview for the show flat starts on 26 September, just after Hungry Ghost Month, and ends on the 7th October. So book your show flat viewing with me and see you there at the show flat.